Ladies and gentlemen, Duckville here with you today. We're going to have a look at a game from the C server this time. It's actually something a little bit different. So considering it's a very lovely warm summer's day here in Melbourne, it's something like 28 degrees. I'm actually dying. We'll have a look at something from the local scene. In fact, with a couple of players who are extremely high ranked in the C community, extremely well recognized players. We're going to have a TvZ here today. Starting down in the bottom right hand side of Tal'Darim Altar is xGKingMafia. You can catch more of Mafia on his stream. It's up on twitch.tv/ZeriaMafia, I believe. I'll double check that and put that in an annotation if that's wrong, but that's Zeria as in XERIA Mafia, and you can figure out the rest from there. And he's a quality Zerg player from the C scene. Loves a bit of droning, a little bit of think of it like a little bit like Australia's version of like Rhett or Sen or someone like that who loves a bit of droning. Perhaps not to the crazy extent as much as those guys do, but we'll see how he goes here today on Tal'Darim. His opponent, as you can just see in the chat here, is a Terran who is also very well known in the C scene. He's competing. In fact, both of these players are competing in the Australian Pro League, which is coming up this weekend, which you can catch the weekend after. That's the weekend of the 17th of December. Make sure you jump on to twitch.tv/OzProLeague and you can catch me streaming that with some of these really good players here. But our blue Terran up in the top left hand side will be TA, aka arcMSIRossi. And he's going to be starting off here today with just a standard sort of opening, just putting that racks down. Obviously you can't really bunker up or anything like that on this map, it's a bit too far. Your Marines and SCVs have to hike like 60,000 miles. Yeah, Rossi, of course, as we said, one of the really decent Terran players in the scene. You can catch him on Twitter at arcMSIRossi. You can also catch his stream. Oh my god, I've totally forgotten it. I'll remember it and put it in an annotation. My bad, Rossi. Anyway, so both of these guys you can catch streaming, so do jump on board if you haven't seen these guys playing before. They're some really good players, and you can see some of the quality C players. So some folks will know that I have generally when I do these commentaries, they're mainly limited to Korea and sometimes some NA players, that sort of stuff. So I've kind of been feeling a little bit bad lately, letting some of my countrymen, letting them down a little bit by not casting as many C games, but I figure there are some other casters who do that sort of stuff. So you can jump onto YouTube and search for C games there. But Rossi sent me this one last night. It's a lot of fun. We'll see how he goes. Starting off with a Reactor Hellion build. We've got this just coming up here. Nice little timing on the Reactor and the Factory. This is going to be perfect. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, bam, Reactor's done, and the Factory is done, switching them over right on time. So that's really nice to see when I love seeing where people get those crisp build orders and get that timing down. We're going to have the Command Center starting up at that expansion straight away. Beautiful timing on all of that. Meanwhile, back at the other side, we've got Mafia starting off with his natural expansion, getting a spine crawler here just for a little bit of defense. But in the meantime, droning up hard, got 3 drones on the way. We've got a creep tumor started in the main, which I also love to see. It's always good to make sure you can connect your 2 main starting bases together. You want to make sure that your queens can run between bases if needed. It applies in both of the main matchups for Zerg. Getting it connected in ZVP is always good. You need your queens to run around and do some defensive work against Void Rays and Phoenix and that kind of stuff. But also in this matchup as well, because if those Hellions get past the initial defenses here at the natural expansion, you want your queens to come by and come down into the main and help out. Or if you need them back inside the natural, they can help out there as well. So Rossi, meanwhile, is just scouting out with these Hellions at the moment. He's currently got the 2 just floating around the map, and they are just poking around to see exactly what is going on. And he's going to have an extra 2 joining the fray in just a moment. They're going to get up to the front door of Mafia, and they're going to have a little bit of contention here with 1 spine crawler. There is a 3rd queen that has just popped out here, going to poop down a couple of these creep tumors, which is always good to get some of them out to make sure you're spreading that creep a little bit, and in fact assassinating a couple of those creep tumors. And here we go, that's what I'm talking about. We've got that creep there, which has helped the queens get into the base and help defend it against the Hellions, and the Hellions will be knocked out shortly, but the problem is, will they be knocked out fast enough? One drone getting roasted, a couple of Lings as well. They're not having a good time. A fourth Ling, more Hellions coming inside, and it seems as if Rossi is going to get a lot of damage done here. He's now got 5 Hellions in total inside the main, getting some more drone kills. We'll have a look at the worker kill tab in just a moment, but two Hellions going down. They have been getting quite a lot of work done, but they now are firing at that Queen. Not the best usage there to try and take out a Queen, but I figure the work is done for those Hellions. They've done what they needed to. They've forced a lot of these Lings here. They've also killed quite a lot of drones. We'll have a quick look at the worker kill tab. We've got 8 kills there for Rossi. That's a really nice job to get that many kills up, and he's also got 4 Hellions back at the main to defend as well, so he's kept on top of that harassment there, doing a nice job. And as we can see, he's probably going to poke around just to see if there are any extra Zerg bases around. Now Rossi is he's got a couple of these barracks going down. We've got one being started on the reactor here, so we can crank out a few Marines. The tech lab is also being utilized on the second racks to get the stim done. That is now all done and dusted, and a couple more racks will be able to help out there as well. And a tank and siege mode both on the way for Rossi, so he's going to be looking to go for some very standard play here, opening up with the Hellions, doing some pressure, and then deciding to switch over to Marine Tank. We can see that he is poking around with these Hellions for the moment. They're going to see if they can catch any out of position units, I should say, and they do find a couple of these Lings, burning away those Lings where he can. Nice micro to get that hurt one out of the way. Now microing back away from the Lings. Nice job there. Now Mafia's got a third hatch up here to utilize that sort of block that he's got there, which really helps with pushing back against these Hellions if he needs to, and it also really helps with the production capability. Look at all these larvae that are just sitting around. They're ready to rumble once he has really beefed up that economy, but we can see that Mafia has actually gone for really quick double upgrades here. We're getting melee and carapace going, so he's really going to look to do a lot of damage with some Lings. Perhaps we may see some Baneling usage as well, given that Baneling nest is now on the way. We've got a lair coming through as well, so he's going to get some tech up and running. Probably going to see all of the gas geysers go down. Yes, we do. So he's opening up with a very light version of his gas, with not getting too much of it coming through. And now, once that he's got a little bit of defense up, we've got drones all over the place, as we can see. We mentioned earlier on at the start of the cast, he loves a bit of droning. We can see he's up to 52 drones right now at the 10-minute mark, so doing a nice job there. While he's doing that, getting a third hatch at the base over there. We've got a fourth up here at the 3 o'clock position as well. So he's really going to kick into that macro mode to try and get as much of an economy boost at the start of the game as he can. Now, spreading out with these creep tumors, really nice. What you want to do as a Zerg player is try and get some of the creep spread up here, so you can get to that fourth base up the top as fast as you can if you do need to make any defensive movements. And now he's going to get that done. Meanwhile, just keeping an eye with the Xelnaga watchtowers, and we can see he's taken these 2 on the side, which are quite important. You can see with this one that you can see if any attacks are coming through this position here, and with this extra one over on the side, you can also catch any movements through the middle and down through the left-hand side of the map. So good utilization of the Xelnaga watchtowers here. Rossi may be aware of this and may try and use his troops in a particular way to try and sneak past the towers, but I'm not really sure how far he's going to get with that. But his third base is also up and running. We got an orbital command here for this this command center as well. Some SCVs have transferred across. They're going to get some work done on that mineral line, but he's also just walled off the front here, just in case any sort of defensive lines are needed, in case he sees any of the Lings pumping through. But for the moment here, he's just really cranked up the production capabilities. We've got 4 racks with reactors here, and that's going to give him massive amounts of Marines to pump out and move across the map. And now what he's doing is just taking a quick look at where all the creep is. Got these siege tanks sieged up just in case any Banelings want to roll along, and the Marines are going to clean up what they can from that creep. So he's going to find this 4th base across to the side. Unfortunately, the creep not going to be able to help too much, given that he's starting to dissipate, but some Lings coming in from the side here, stimming up. No tank siege. This is a bit of an unfortunate position here for Rossi. He's going to lose every single thing there. Mafia backing up with the Lings, and then the Lings just sitting back while the Banelings clean up every single unit there. Rossi not happy happy at all with that loss, and now he's going to have to wait to push again while he needs to really just ramp up some of that production. As we said, getting a lot of Marines out. We'd love to see a second factory right about now. Have we got one coming? No, we don't, but what he is doing is getting double upgrades for those Marines. So we're going to have 1-1 very, very soon for those Marines. They're going to be able to get their 2-2 quite soon as well. That armory almost perfectly timed out so that he can get it once these two have completed their upgrades, and he's going to really be able to get some heavy pressure done. What I'd love to see is either a second factory or some medevacs started up, and it looks as if we are going to get the medevacs. We've got a reactor here on the starport, so he's going to be able to crank out some medevacs and possibly do some drops. We've got a Spire already done here for Mafia. Where is it? There it is. We've got a Spire with +1 weapons on the way. Going to get some mutas cranking out in just a moment, but what he's doing first is getting 12 drones already, and he's going to be really high in that drone count there. Yeah, we can see it already, sitting at 85 drones to the 74 SCVs of Rossi's. So, and what I would love to see here from Mafia is a bit more creep spread. He could try and push it out again. Obviously, it's a little bit of trouble when the Terran comes along and just starts knocking down all of your creep. It's like those crazy Mongolians knocking down walls, and as we can see, it looks as if Rossi is going to go for a drop, dropping in some Marines down here to the low ground. Not sure if it's the best way to proceed here, but what he is going to be able to do is put a lot of damage on this this unit mixture here from Mafia, and in fact stop all of the mining here at this base. One spine crawler is going to do what it can, but it's not going to last too long, poking away like a crazy emu at a zoo, and he's going to be able to stop all the mining for quite a while here at this base, and possibly even take out this hatchery. We do have 2 tanks on the high ground, and they're going to knock that out, no problems at all. But it looks as if the how many lings is that? That's a whole lot. Let's say 88 lings are just sweeping through the map here. They're just going to run around. They do have their +2 too, so they've got a lot of armor, and they do have a lot of damage when they do strike as well. And we'll probably see a hive on the way very soon from Mafia. In fact, it's just about done. It looks as if he's going to go very, very heavy on the ground tech here, utilizing the big movement potential of the lings and the banelings as well when there's creep around. Unfortunately, that medevac not getting too far, but the damage has been done for Rossi. He's taken out this 4th base, but the problem for him is that there are still a whole heap of drones out on the map. We've got A3 drones currently just mining away at the various expansions of Mafia, so we'll have to see how Rossi's going to deal with this, perhaps with some drops, or perhaps he has something else planned. It looks as if he does have a 4th base planned. He's going to head over with this command center down to this position here. Take that one. It's actually, it's a little bit to the left, I believe, but he should be able to get that in just a moment. But it looks as if we are having a counter attack coming through the top side of the map. The Lings capturing some of these Marines here, and they are able to take a lot of them out. The mutas will also be able to have their way with that command center as well. But a few tanks sitting in the back here are going to be able to deflect any Ling pressure, and the Marines will be able to push away those mutalisks before they get too much damage done. So Rossi in a little bit of an unstable position at the moment, just sort of waiting to see if he is going to be able to push out with this big force here. He does have 2-2 on these Marines, so they will absolutely shred everything they can if they can get into a good position and stem up. Let's just have a quick look back at what Mafia is up to. We've got the pathogen glands done. Spire is now morphing into the Greater Spire, so once this 4th base is up and running, things are going to start getting very, very hectic here for Rossi. Once those Brute Lords come out, perhaps we'll even see some Ultralisks, considering that 3-3 is almost done here for Melee and Carapace for Mafia, so he's going to be really able to do a heap of damage once he has the extra add-on, the extra upgrade there for the Lings with the Adrenal Glands, and also if he gets some Ultralisks out as well, so we'll see what happens. But the Mutalisks still flying around, causing a little bit of trouble. They've only got the +1, so they don't do a huge amount of damage to these Marines, but if they catch the Marines out of position, we could see a massive massacre, and we'll see if that is the case here. But Mafia getting this 4th is, in fact, that's effectively a 5th base there, because this 4th up at the top right hand side is being retaken here, so he's going to be mining away at that. Meanwhile, just back on the other side of the map, it looks as if Rossi is going to try and get his own 4th back up and running again down here at the 9 o'clock position. Looks as if an Overlord would have seen that, if not at least the transfer there, but the Lings are going to move out on the map here. We've got one Thor in the mix to help out against those Mutalisks, and it looks as if Rossi is going to have to do some nice spreading here. Actually, he came across quite nicely there. A lot of those Marines still alive, and they are able to clean up the rest of the units here. That was actually not the best engagement there for Mafia, losing a lot of those Mutalisks along with a heap of those of the Lings as well, and so he's going to be in a little bit of a troublesome position. But now Rossi is free to move out now that there are so many Lings that have been destroyed. But the problem for Rossi is that there is so much economy available for Mafia. He's going to be able to resupply, as we can see here. He's got another 26 Lings on the way. We've got Corruptors, Infestors, all that good stuff coming along here from Mafia, so he's going to be able to switch into a much more high-tech army as opposed to that one we just saw before, which, while numerous, was not as powerful. So we'll see some Broodlords, we'll see the Infestors, and that very deadly Broodlord Infestor mixture moving out there. I almost got those words massively confused, but he's going to be able to move out with that and do some damage to Rossi, unless Rossi has something planned. It looks as if we've got another drop here at that 4th base. He's going to take out some of the drones that are here. Marines chasing after what they can. One of the Overlords is going to go down, and I would say this hatchery is also going to go down. 3 tanks wailing away on that one, and they're going to be able to deal with that quite easily. Marines, for some reason, coming down across here, they may be able to encounter the Broodlords out of position. If they can get to the Broodlords before the Lings, no, too late. He's not going to be able to take out those Broodlords before the ground support comes in. And now, with the Infestors here, this is going to be a lot of trouble for Rossi to deal with, and we'll have to see how he is going to get some defenses up. But just over at the 4th base, he's got a planetary up. We've got a couple of these turrets as well to help against Mutalisks and some of the Broodlords to an extent. And now we can see that Rossi is perhaps going to get cut off here. Some of the Lings actually intercepting these Marines before they can link up with their brothers in arms, but it looks as if the tanks are the ones who are left standing there. The Lings now sweeping in along with the Mutas, cleaning up those 3 tanks, and things are looking a little bit grim here for Rossi, but we'll have to see what happens. These guys are quite even in the supply stakes. We've got Rossi currently sitting at 189, Mafia at 192, so while that does look a little bit iffy, he's still in a very nice position. These Marines have 3-3, so as we mentioned earlier, they will tear through all of those Zerg units quite quickly. And now the mechanical units also have the vehicle weapon +1 is also done now for Rossi. So the tanks, when they get their siege mode up and all sexy, they'll be doing a heap of damage as well. And perhaps we'll see if Rossi can attack into this this 5th base, which is down at the 6 o'clock position. But he is actually a little bit out of position here. No tanks to siege. It looks as if the Lings are trying to come through here. Mutalisks off to the side as well. The Infestors now coming through. Gonna see some huge fungal growths, and there they are, splitting up these Marines quite nicely there. Unfortunately, still catching a lot of these fungals, and it looks as if these Marine forces are going to be destroyed by the fungals, if not the Broodlords, which are now coming in. We've got 5 Broodlords in the mix here. Where are the 6th and the 7th ones? I'm not sure, but we still do have a couple of Marines, a tank, and a few medevacs surviving. If Rossi can get in here, stim up, and do a lot of damage, he may be able to take down this hatchery before these forces are overwhelmed by those Broodlords. In fact, the Broodlords are having a smoko because they are just going to sit back there, but the hatchery is definitely going to go down. Going to wait for that lift up here from Rossi, and indeed he does. Beautiful work there. Picks up those units, is going to try and escape now. We don't actually have any Corruptors out on the map, I don't think, but there are a lot of Mutalisks that have just come into the map here. They're going to try and perhaps see if they can catch these medevacs before they get away, but the medevacs should be able to escape to the safety of the turrets and the planetary fortress over here before the Mutalisks can catch up with them. Yeah, the Mutalisks, they're also having a smoke break. Every Zerg unit smokes, so didn't you guys know that? But now, look at this this production capability here from Rossi. We've got 1, 2, 3 factories along with, wow, have a look at those racks. We have a total of 11 racks here for Rossi. We've got a whole heap of reactors as well. He's also building a couple of command centers down here, maybe wanting to use them for some planetary fortress defense in the middle of the map. We have seen that from time to time, but now a big battle up to the side. The Lings trying to pressure against these Marines, but there are so many Marines with their stim and their +3-3. They're going to absolutely wreck every single unit here. The Vikings able to take care of the Broodlords if they can as well, and now with the Thors coming into the mix, these Broodlords are not long for this world, and down they go. Rossi coming back with a fierce determination there, building up a lot of Thors to take care of any mutas, and of course those Broodlords as well from long range, and those Marines doing a ton of damage to the remaining ground forces here. But now with this the 3rd base up and running, in fact it was a 4th, and now a 5th up here at the 12 o'clock position, Rossi is going to start coming back here and looking very, very solid. Mafia is going to need to take some more expansions. He does have this hatchery here, which is obviously going to go down in just a moment. This one down to the side side as well is probably not going to last too long either, and the Marines taking care of some of those infestors trying to hatch out there, but we'll see what Mafia is going to do. We've got a little mixture here of Lings and Banes and Infestors and a few Broodlords as well. We've got 6 Broodlords off to the side here. Just having a look at how many units are on the table at the moment. We've got 6 Broodlords in total, 8 Mutalisks. We're having 19 Banelings morphing in right now. You can see them right there. And we've got 7 Infestors as well. So the Infestor Broodlord combination along with some Banelings is going to do a lot of damage given that we do have a lot of Marines here. The problem is dealing with those Thors. I don't believe he has Neuroparasite. No, he doesn't just yet. But there is a Fungal. Rossi caught out of position. Unfortunately, his unit's splitting up there for some reason. And now it looks as if the Banelings will try and push through here. In fact, no, he's not going to be able to get the Banelings into position. But now he is rolling through. They're going to catch up with some of the Marines. Marines splitting apart to try and get away from those Banes if they can. But it looks as if there are going to be too many Zerg forces here for Rossi to deal with. And now, with a couple of Fungal growths and some infested Terrans, these Vikings are not going to last too long. Perhaps if they get caught out, they will be assassinated by some of the infestors, and there they go. So these Vikings, whilst doing an okay job against some of these Broodlords, in fact, sniping off one before he runs away. That Viking doing a great job there, doing a great service for his country. But just having a look at the mining availability for these guys, we've got the extra armor on the way for the Ultralisks, so we're probably going to see a few Ultralisks in the mix very, very soon. We've got no mining available at the main or the Nat. The 3rd base is also getting a little bit low as well. 4th traveling nicely here for Mafia. 5th is also doing nice as well. So, and on the flip side of that, of course, we've got nothing left in the main of Rossi. He's got a little bit left over at the 3rd, nothing at the natural, but the 4th and the 5th up the top are doing quite nicely at the moment. So both of these guys sitting on essentially even bases for the moment. Of course, the mules will certainly help out in Rossi's income. We'll just have a quick look at the income tab here. We've got Mafia currently sitting up at 1,800 mineral income with 77 harvesters, and we've got a slight difference there for Rossi. He's got around about 1,400 mineral income and just a lot less gas. I'm a little bit surprised at that. We've only got the gas income of around about 500 here. I think, yeah, there's only one SCV in each of these refineries, which of course is not going to help. But it looks as if Rossi has moved down to the southern side of the map. He's going to try and take this one himself as well, but some Lings are going to try and deny that as best as they can. They are going to get inside here, probably going to see a cancel and a lift on that, and there it goes. And now, look at all these Ultralisks in the middle of the map. These are going to tear through a lot of the units available for Rossi, but the problem that he's going to have to deal with is that there are some ghosts starting to get into the mix with some snipes and some well-positioned siege tanks. Rossi should be able to deal with it, but here we go. We're probably going to have a big battle here. Just to note, we currently have 11 Ultralisks on the map here, 7 Infestors, 3 Broodlords, and just a few Lings in the mix as well. And now the Ultralisks starting to clean up some of the Marines that have tried to drop down here at the 3rd base, cleaning that up quite simply here. The mixture from Rossi is currently at 6 tanks, 66 Marines, 4 Ghosts, 3 Thors, and here we go. Looks as if we've got a bit of a battle here. The units of Rossi getting pulverized both by those Ultralisks from the side here. Where are the Infestors? Here they come. They are going to get into the mix here, putting down some Fungal Growths. A beautiful EMP there from Rossi, taking down the energy on a lot of those Infestors. Unfortunately, the Infestors had utilized a lot of their energy before that EMP went down. So Rossi coming in and doing a little bit of damage. He did take out this base up the top side here. Did get a little bit of damage done here at the 3rd base as well, but he's going to have to contend with another 7 Ultralisks on the way from Mafia. He is really banked up nicely and he's going to crank out those Ultralisks. We'll have to see, for some of you guys who love a bit of Zerg action, if the Ultralisk truly is that unit that you build when you want to lose. So we'll find out very soon here from Mafia. But just looking at the production tab, we've got a few Ghosts coming out here from Rossi. He's switched over a few of these racks. He's going to get a few on the tech labs as well. They're going to be able to crank out 2 Ghosts at a time. There should actually be 1, 2... No, there's only going to be 2 Ghosts at a time, but the Ghosts are really going to help, of course. They do that huge damage with Snipe. Just have a quick look at it there for you. The Sniper round does 45 damage, ignores armor, so it tears straight through these Ultralisks as well, despite the fact that they have 63,000 million armor and they never seem to die. But if you got a few snipes, put them down and they'll start tearing through them quite quickly here. And now we can see that the SCV is getting a little bit desperate here for Rossi, trying to come down the left-hand side of the map, trying to get what they can here from this base, but they're not really going to get too far. There is a hatchery building there, not to mention just a few units off to the side as well. So those SCVs are not long either, and they're not going to survive too long. But Rossi deciding that he's not going to bother about these destructible rocks. They're not destructible for a reason. He's just going to plonk down the command center here, build a planetary fortress. These SCVs should be fine for the time being until some lings. We'll see if some lings actually get up there and try and assassinate that base. But fourth base here for Rossi, just about done and gone. And the fifth up the top is also getting there. The mules obviously taking their toll in these mineral patches here. You can see them going down quite quickly here. And now as well we can see that the sixth base up to the top right hand side is also looking a bit full there as well. But an attempt to drop here from Rossi, not getting too much done. A couple of spine crawlers are going to be building here to help with the defense, but a couple of infested Terrans are more than enough for that one lonely Marine. In fact, we have an extra Marine just down to the side, so he's going to be hanging out there and just taking snapshots. Make sure you are using a good flash when you're taking those pictures. But here we go. It looks as if we're going to have a battle in the left side of the map. It looks as if Rossi is going to have an interesting position here. Thor's at the front getting chewed up by those Ultralisks. The Ultralisks absolutely tearing everything apart here with not enough ghosts to do some snipe damage to these Ultralisks. The Ultralisks have free reign over that ground position there, and the army absolutely obliterated there by all of those Ultralisks. They have their +5 to armor, or 6 I suppose in total when you consider the extra amount, and then they've also got their Kaiser Blades up at +3 weapons. They're doing 47 damage to armored units. This planetary fortress is going to get absolutely smashed. The SCVs coming across to try and repair as best as they can, but they are not going to be able to do the job well. And now with that extra damage from the splash, these SCVs are going to go down, and now things looking very, very interesting in this game. We've got a base now coming up from Mafia in the top right hand side. A little bit interesting he hasn't tried to take this one back again, but I suppose it's going to be a little bit difficult considering that his opponent is coming across the map and just tearing apart this base anytime he gets it up. But we'll see what happens here. These Ultralisks, how many Ultralisks we got on the map? We got 10. We got 13 mutas, we got 10 infestors, we've got 7 ghosts now though. Marauders starting to come out as well from Rossi. Would love to see a few more of those as well, with some stim action and some kiting. You can see these Ultralisks get absolutely smashed by Marauders, but we'll have to see how that goes once Rossi makes a bit of a tech switch. But it looks as if he is going to stick with the ghost for the moment here. In fact, look at that. This the one Marauder that's out on the map. There's just one? Yeah, it's just one. Is actually stuck inside the ranks. This guy is not having a good day at all. But he's going to need to lose some weight to get out of that place, I tell you what. But the Ultralisks and the Mutalisks now just flying around the map, doing a little bit of map control here, trying to take out this top base at the 12 o'clock position. He is going to be able to get rid of that quite easily. Of course, the Ultralisks will take down the Orbital Command while it's on the ground. The Mutalisks will take it down when it's in the air, so you've got nowhere to run, Mr. Orbital Command. And he is going to try and run, though. Not going to get too far. The turrets off to the side will certainly help, but it's not going to get that far either. But now we can see that Rossi moving into position, sieging up some of those tanks quite nicely here. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage against these Ultralisks, but the Ultralisks are actually falling quite quickly there from the snipes and the tanks as well. Fungal growth going down all over those Marines, and while that position actually went quite nicely there for Rossi, he has lost a lot of tanks, he's lost some Marines, and without these, where are the medevacs? We actually have no medevacs available for him here at the moment to heal up. Where are those 4 medevacs? Okay, they're coming out now. They're going to come and heal across at the side here, and it looks as if Mafia has found one of those hidden bases, going to plonk down some of the beach balls. They're going to hatch and play some beach volleyball, or they are just going to shoot those SCVs, whichever is easier. They're not going to get too much done, given that the SCVs have retreated behind the cover of the planetary fortress, but they are going to be able to deny the mining here at this expansion for the time being. Not to mention, Rossi has had his 7th, or what is effectively a 7th base discovered. Mutas poking away at that planetary fortress. A planetary fortress, unfortunately, cannot shoot back, but it looks as if some counterplay is going on here from Rossi. Is dropping down at this base at the natural down in the bottom left-hand corner. Now the Marines running inside. They're going to be able to stim up and take care of this hatchery as well. Ling streaming in. They're going to try and get it, but there is not enough time. The hatchery going down, saving a couple of those Marines. Those guys are going to have a hell of a story to tell once they get back home. And now we'll have a quick look at what the supply is at. We've got Mafia reboosting himself right now, getting back up to 137 supply. Rossi currently sitting on 154. So Rossi starting to take a bit of an edge here, and we'll see how that goes. We've got the unit mixture from Mafia again switching around. We've got a few Broodlords in the mix. We've got a lot of Lings. He switched back to that low-tech style with a lot of Lings and some Mutas and a few Infestors as well. We've got 10 Infestors. He's going to really need to make sure he utilizes these as best as possible, because that is going to be the way he is going to win if he is. And Rossi, meanwhile, is got he's got some fantastic defensive lines set up here. We've got some turrets set up at this Planetary Fortress, so that's going to be okay for the moment. And the Planetary will, of course, take care of any of those Lings if they come along. But what I want to see, where are those Broodlords? Broodlords are... no idea. But there are some Broodlords. Oh, there they are. They're right in the mix of the match here. And Fungal's going down. Unfortunately, the units of Rossi not spread that well here. But we will see him do a heap of damage. Snipes going off from those from the Ghosts as well, dealing with the Broodlords as quickly as they can. And there's the GG. Mafia has had enough. Unfortunately, not able to secure this base. He has lost all of his mining here. No mining at the main, the Nat, the third, or even this base here. This is just about done. And so just some great counterplay from Rossi, dealing some drops around the map and just pushing through where he could and doing some really cost-efficient damage there, and then coming through with some ghosts at the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game. That was a lot of fun to see some C players. As I said at the start of the cast, make sure you catch these guys on their respective Twitch TV channels and show them some love. Show them some love on Twitter. I couldn't actually find Mafia's Twitter, but I'll put that in if I can find it. But yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave some feedback for me. If you want to see some more C games, let me know, and I'll try and talk to the guys and get some more off them. But we will get back to some more Korea games very, very soon, and I hope you will join me then. Cheers.